It's ambitious. Have to talk fast.
Yeah. It's already in progress? Okay. Oops. Yeah.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
Boy.
Lisa, tell me when you're ready. Okay,
Give me a couple.
there's a clipboard with yellow paper to sign in. If you haven't signed in, it's going around. What?
Oh, no. Actually borrowed this one from the desk. I gotta remember to put it back when we're done.
For your enjoyment. Thank you.
I rewrote that.
Okay.
So assuming we do it, then you'll have it ready and I'll sign it Tuesday. That's the changes are included.
What do we got? Lodge, voted, lodge. Oh.
Okay, let's. Okay, this public meeting opens at 7 o'clock at the Old Town Hall, 1111 Somerset Avenue. The meeting is video and audio recorded for cable broadcast and internet posting on www.dayton-mass-gov and YouTube. Would everyone stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, there are several items for the chairman's address to open the meeting. First was to accept Charlie Mello's retirement from the commission after 50 years of service. If you came a little bit early, you saw you can still see a few cookies around and ice cream and the rest that we served. And it looks like he took his gift, but forgot the bag that his wife's going to give him a present in. Oh, okay, that's good. Charlie's been a member of the commission for 50 years. And he has been secretary. He has been everything to the commission, working, recording the minutes of the meetings, being the treasurer and doing anything and everything possible to keep this commission running. So today, after 50 years, he is retired from service and we wish him well. Okay. Next is we have a review and act. Discuss recommendations to the Board of Selectmen for Paul Reynolds from associate member to become full member of the Dayton Conservation Commission. Okay, we need to act on this to make Paul a full member of the commission. I'm looking for a motion to accept Paul as a full member.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you are now in the full commission position and ready to vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Very honored.
Okay, now we have a request by citizens to become associate members and members. This is to review, discuss, act if necessary. And what we have here is citizens within the town who wish to become a member of the commission to assist in the protection of the wetlands and in many cases, even protection of the property that people are going to buy and build upon. So we look to the citizens of Dayton to consider us as a possible outlet for their experiences and their efforts to preserve the town. Okay, now, I guess I got two items in there, the request for citizens to become a members and then a request for citizens to become. So right now we have on our listing two individuals who have asked to become members. They have not formally been introduced yet. They have to write up formal letters to the commission and then to the selectmen. So we are waiting upon their actions. Okay.
No.
Based on renewed interest in the Dayton residents joining the commission, the Dayton Conservation Commission requests that the Board of Selectmen take no action at this time on any Conservation Commission reappointment until the commission has the ability to make the recommendation to the selectmen regarding reappointments and appointments for the next fiscal year.
That is a motion. Is that a motion that you're making?
Motion made.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
I'm sorry?
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay.
Moving on.
Review, discuss and act recommendation to Board of Selectmen to appoint Paul Reynolds to Community Preservation Committee and remove James Digits. That would remove me and put Paul in the position to go to the CPC's meeting. We need a motion for that, to accept that, and then a second.
Make a motion that we accept Paul for the CPC and remove Jim Digits.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Didn't take him long to abuse you, did it, Paul?
As a point of order, Mr. Chairman, I believe I need to be appointed by the Board of Selectmen prior to being able to vote. Is that correct?
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds is
Okay,
very important. So time. You asked to put it on the agenda for Wednesday night, but I won't give you any letter.
is a text,
Mr. Mullen, absolutely.
okay,
Me and get it to Mr. Mullen.
okay,
Please,
okay.
we have to open, we have to have it Monday morning.
Okay, well, I can probably do it tomorrow or,
That's good.
okay, and after the meeting, I wish to speak to you on a different subject.
A piece of paper, give it to me, you know.
Okay,
Send it over.
Thank
okay,
you, Mr. Hall.
You have to do that.
okay. Next is review, act, discuss recommendation to the Board of Selectmen to appoint Dave Phillips Jr. to the Stormwater Committee. This is in replacement of Charlie Mello, who has retired. Is there a motion to appoint? Go ahead.
Make that
Make a
motion.
motion that we appoint Dave Phillips Jr. to the Stormwater Committee and Charlie's retirement absence.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes to our previous meeting have not been completed. They will be available at our July meeting,
By 20th is our next meeting.
on July 20th, okay. Okay, we have a continued hearing from DI Trust. It's a comprehensive subdivision seeking to construct 135 single-family homes and 13,137 linear feet of associated roadway off of Forest Street. DEP file number SE 17443. DI Trust has requested a continuance. Is there a motion to accept that continuance?
Motion to continue. to
Okay, is
7
there a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Another hearing, Reed Brother Farms Limited Liability Partnership, DEP file number SE 17-447. Outback Engineering has requested a continuance to July 20th.
Motion.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
A continued hearing. An NRAD application by Dean Smith of New Leaf Dayton Energy Source One LLC for 0 Maynard Lane, map 1 lot 82, 83-7 and 96, DEP file number SE 17476. New Leaf has requested a continuance until July 20th.
Motion to continue.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Another NRAD application by RJR Properties of 0 Old Horton Street, map 7, lot 36 and 37-1, DEP file number 17-475. Nova Environmental submitted a scope amendment for the peer review. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak on behalf of the RJR Properties? Okay, we'll need to continue this hearing.
Have we received all the information we requested? I know we were looking for additional consulting fees to cover our peer review services.
I have not seen or heard of any money coming in to cover peer review. Currently that stands that this large parcel is associated resources or additional resources within the wetland boundaries that may extend beyond the 100-foot buffer zone of the wetland itself. So we are looking for additional information from RJR Properties.
We were also looking for a stamp with a PLS, a plan with a PLS stamp as well.
You have given this information to RJR, correct?
We spoke with them at the last meeting and asked for these things, and our consultant has also reached out. Who happens to be here? Do you mind if I ask her to?
That is fine.
Do you mind?
Hi, Marty Nova with Nova Environmental Consulting. So just a little history of how we got to this point, because I wasn't at the last hearing. So they filed an ANRAD for the commission to confirm the bordering vegetated wetland boundary only. So I went out to the site early April, determined that there were areas along the wetland boundary that I questioned, and they hadn't provided supporting evidence that their boundary was correct. So they actually went back on the site and did some additional soil pits and vegetation plots. I met Brandon Faniff on the site and determined that the wetland boundary, their information could not support their wetland boundary. So we adjusted the wetland boundary in the field. There were other sections along the wetland boundary that they also adjusted based on my initial review. And at the onsite, I told Brandon that once the revised plan gets submitted to the Conservation Commission, I'll go back on the site and I'll confirm the changes. So the additional information that my scope amendment included was the additional site inspection to confirm the locations of the flags in the field based to the in relation to the plan, and also the additional site work that we did to confirm the soils that were out there. Also, there was discussion, there was a stream on the site that they actually put on a revised plan as an alleged stream. And the additional information that I recommended that the commission get from them was, if you don't believe that's a stream by definition, then you need to provide the commission with your opinion and supporting evidence. My opinion in the field was it was a stream. I saw it flowing.
Is this a stream noted on the government map?
On the Mass Mapper GIS, there is a stream that actually is tributary to the Segregated River that is also classified as a Zone A water, which is a tributary to public water supply. So on either side of this stream that's shown on the GIS is a 200-foot Zone A. So it's a Class A water with Zone A around it, which extends into the site quite a bit. That's not shown in the plan, but I recommended that the applicant, if they wanted the commission to determine if that was a stream or not, they needed to amend their ANRAD application to ask the commission to do that. Otherwise, they're only asking you to confirm the BBW boundary at this time.
Okay, for the audience's information, these streams and then possible, you didn't mention vernal pool,
Yes.
carry a 200-foot boundary for conservation jurisdiction. Does this 200-foot boundary extend beyond the original wetland line?
Based on my site work, I believe it does.
Okay, so then essentially then a wetland delineation is insufficient because the other wetlands within the wetland or other types of resource areas would require a greater distance for protection.
Yes, that would better describe your jurisdiction
Okay,
for a proposed project. Correct.
okay.
I had recommended in my April letter that if the applicant didn't want the commission to look at these other resource areas, that they actually put a note on the plan that other resource areas exist on the property, but have not been delineated and have not been reviewed under this ANRAD, just to cover
Yeah,
the commission.
I haven't received that. Have you? I haven't received.
No, I have not. So
okay. Any commission members' questions?
Yeah, Marty. The wetlands in the stream. Is that within our boundary where the construction of the house is going to be?
This is.
I don't know that because I haven't seen the plan.
You haven't seen,
The actual notice of intent plan.
This is the ANRAD.
Yeah.
yeah,
We're not talking about the notice of intent. That's a completely different filing.
well, I'm not talking about the notice of intent either.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if where the house is going to go. Is it going to impact that stream and the wetland boundary?
I can't answer that question because I don't know where the limit of work is proposed.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I was there and there are stakes in the ground where the house is going, but, someone showed me where it was going. And I didn't see anything that, would impact the wetland issues. But anyway,
Right, there is,
we'll move along and get what we need, that's for sure.
Okay, are you complete?
yeah,
Okay, so shall we wait and see what comes in from the RJR properties?
Yeah, they need to show us where the house and the septic system is going.
No, this is an NRAD,
I know it.
but this is not a filing for a house. This is for wetland delineations and wetland resource areas that, which means it would be a stream, it would be a vernal pool. After that has been determined, then you can say those stakes are within the wetland jurisdiction or they're not. But right now, that has not been applied for. This is just the wetland delineation and inner resource areas.
Okay,
So we have to get, once that is straight, then they are able to stay beyond that and do whatever they want.
Right.
But until that is done, we don't know if they are in our jurisdiction or not, but those resource areas are there.
yes, they are.
Okay. Thank you.
thanks.
Is there a motion to continue to July 20th?
Motion to continue to July 20th.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, notice of intent application by Robert J. Russell III, 0 Horton Street, map 7, lot 36 for construction of a single-family house with septic system. A portion of the work is within the buffer zone to wetland resources, DEP file number SC 17-481. Is anyone here to represent them? Okay, this, Bill, this may be the lot where the stakes are. But if we don't
That's
know
why.
where those other resources are,
Point of order, we can't discuss it because they continue to this meeting and they're not here to represent themselves.
okay. But I'm just giving Bill information as far as,
Oh, I didn't need that, Jim. I'm all set.
okay. Is there a motion to continue?
Motion to continue to 7:20.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a notice of intent application by Robert Martin at 1035 William Street for after the fact permit for garage site improvements, including driveway, landscaping. Let's see, Lisa, there's a few other words here that are crossed out by the stamp.
Above ground pool, I believe that.
Okay, above ground pool and a grading of dead trees as well as some invasive new and invasives and a new fence.
And restoration planting.
Okay, restoration, a portion of the proposed work is within the regulated buffer zone, DEP file number 17-480. Is anyone here to represent Mr. Martin? Okay, do I have a motion to continue?
Motion to continue to 7:20.
Excuse me. I did receive an email. So due to the fact that the commission was firm on the 25-foot no disturb at the last meeting and requiring, requesting that information be shown on the plan and that the work be outside of the 25-foot no disturb. We requested that and we actually received an email response from the owner. You just read it real quick. Gotta find it. I said, all right, I responded to his consultant. The commission members that were interested did take a drive by and saw what they needed to see from the road. And I know I was there several times and I know at least Dave Phillips had been there. And I said, therefore, we will not need any more site visits. Also, as discussed at our last meeting, the commission desires to maintain an undisturbed 25-foot no disturb area. And I got a very simple email back, see you in court. So,
See us in court, huh?
yeah.
Um,
Now, again, this is an after the fact filing. Activities, including the garage. The Conservation Commission was not requiring them to move the garage out of our 50-foot no build. We were simply asking for him to allow the 25-foot undisturbed zone to revert to natural vegetation. We weren't asking for a whole lot. We were even going to give him his pool and everything else he wanted. So at this point, I think you guys should just make a decision on it.
Without him being here, I don't think that's right.
He said, see you in court, and I did speak with his consultant on the phone. Are you a neighbor or?
I am his mother and a neighbor.
So I spoke with this consultant today, and I said, do they wish to continue? And he, actually it was yesterday, I'm sorry. Do they wish to continue? And he said, no, I didn't hear anything, but I just read the email again and sounds like he wants this to go to court, so. It's up to you guys what you want to do. We can reach out again and see what they want to do, or we can make a motion.
You know, I've been by there many times. William Street is a thoroughfare for Dayton. And there's plenty of room to access his garage, plenty of room to get vehicles, you know, what he wants, and the 25-foot no touch zone, which is sacred to this commission and its bylaws. I don't want to see it touched, but I will open it up to you.
I just
people-
wanted to remind you, it already was touched, so the whole reason that we found the unpermitted activity was because there was a violation there of cutting within the wetland itself and the 25-foot undisturbed.
Any comments are,
If we waive it for him, are we gonna waive it for the rest of the town?
that's what I say. That's okay.
I mean, this didn't originate with the Conservation Commission. This originated with the building department. And nothing went through the conservation or the building permit.
Well, actually, in fact, the house did go through conservation.
The house, I realized the house did, Lisa.
How many years ago was that?
2018. The house was permitted through conservation and then the garage went through building without conservation.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying. And I'm sure if we looked at the house building permit, there had to be boundaries for wetland on that, correct?
I don't believe there were any wetlands shown according to the applicant. Lenny's trying to say something.
Leonard Hull, Dayton Board of Selectmen. This evening, you have read into the record a threat of a lawsuit. This matter involves issues problems that were created by other departments. This is a very intricate matter. And where you have been threatened with legal action, it may be prudent to take this under advisement and seek legal counsel. Might be worth the investment as you go forward, how you present in the public meeting and also in response to this charge. But again,
Okay,
it is,
I'm going to say this commission will not be bullied by people or permitted, but everyone says we're going to sue and get their way. And
all I'm saying is seek legal counsel as to the direction you should go.
It wouldn't-
Not being bullied, but it just might save you a lot of money, even if nothing more, lawyers talking to each other. That's all. Thank you.
well, we get two, I think I see there's two options. One is to continue and to ask legal counsel on, but then again, I don't want legal counsel making decisions for us. We are a commission. So the other option is for us to act on it now and see what happens. I will let you folks decide if, or what kind of motion you would like.
Oh, I mean, let's consult with legal counsel. And, you know, I don't see why we should have to bend on the 25.
Oh, I don't either. I don't either,
I
Jack.
mean, we didn't create the problem, Jim, and if we do it for one. You know what I mean? If it gets settled in court, it gets settled in court, but. You know what I mean? It's, oh, well, you did it for this one, now you gotta do it for that one, and then the next thing you know, they'll be building in the river. So,
Because I don't want legal counsel making decisions for us.
I
and
realize
Going,
that.
and going over our heads or under the table or whatever it is called.
I mean, if we can speak to legal counsel and tell them 25 foot's 25 foot.
And there is ample room for a
Correct.
driveway there
Correct.
because
It's not creating a hardship.
it's no,
No,
it's just abiding by our bylaw.
right.
You know, quite frankly, we could request that they remove the garage, but we're not going that route.
Oh,
But I think.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, I'll tell you what, though, if they want to go to court and do it, then we can request they remove the garage.
Yeah, I think we should
I
get,
think that's what they want to do.
I'm sorry, can we finish and then we'll ask for public input? I think what's best is we take Mr. Hall's advice, reach out to town council, let him know, I'll give him the whole file.
I do think there's something to be said for, measure twice and cut once. I do think that getting
But
qualified, legal advice. is
It
not-
didn't
Yes.
come down on us.
Okay,
Didn't come down on us. This was another committee that issued this. So now they're over here trying to make us out to be the bad guys. We're not the bad guys. In black and white, it states all touch and no touch and what's what and who's who. And if we do it for one, that's gonna be the end of it. And I mean, I got nothing against them. But I'm sure if somebody went back on the deed, there had to be wetlands showed on that parcel of land. So if somebody looked, carried it out, you know, your wetlands are here, your garage is gonna be so long. It was never, nothing to do with us. It was just, go ahead and do it.
Are you
Oh.
to represent them or just?
I'm not, I do have an opinion. I have an opinion.
No, I mean, no, it's not.
okay, this is the commission speaking now. We'll open it up to the public shortly.
No.
Okay, so we get, if we did go to legal counsel, we could say, we want you to review our position, but no, you will not be able to make any decision for us.
Correct.
I do not want legal counsel to get involved with making a decision for us.
They would not and could not do that.
Yeah, they make recommendations to us.
Right.
And it may be that we have a discussion with the other board too. Not the other board, I'm sorry, the other department.
Okay. Anybody else for discussion here? Okay, the public.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say that, you know, they are here to invest in the community. And I know for a fact that nothing that was done with intent. That's a fact. And I know that they want to stay in the community. And I think that the comment that was sent to you was sent out of frustration for not knowing where this stands. I honestly believe that he didn't do anything on purpose.
Well, that was the second or the third time he said that to me, so I don't know if I believe that.
And that's fine, because that's what you believe. But I'm saying and I'm family, so I'm the mother-in-law. My grandkids live in that property. And I'd like to see them stay in that property because I think.
We're not telling them to leave.
To the community. That they.
Driveway is just gonna become, right now, the driveway, I don't have any measurements on it, but it looks like it's about 60, 70 feet wide, 25 feet. No touch zone is not going to affect their access to
That's right.
to their garage or whatever.
They're not looking to make any kind of environmental impact, break any laws or
No,
do anything.
His consultant,
Yeah, they're not here with their consultant, so that puts us in a rock and a hard place. They don't even want to talk to us anymore, so.
his consultant,
No, I didn't even know that this was on the dock. I'm just giving. you my-
well, it's supposedly continued here.
Right. The reason that we're here is because we got a notice house with their address that with where we live.
No,
So we.
that's the butters notice.
Right. With the wrong address. It was a mistake.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry, a
sorry,
mistake.
someone from Outback, could you please explain what happened, because I'm getting a lot of calls about this.
Right, so maybe they thought maybe they didn't.
No, they were filing for another project, Prospect Street, and I think whoever did the paperwork.
Just didn't change the address.
Yeah.
Okay,
Different date too as well.
Not, I mean, I don't know because, I mean, I can call them and ask them to come, I'm sure, but I don't think that they knew that they were supposed to be here.
Well, they were. Their consultant was at the last meeting and it was continued to this date, this specific date.
And then we got this notice with the wrong address and it was just very confusing.
okay, so you got the wrong notice, but they knew about this and you didn't have to get a notice.
Right, so they're not. You must have got the initial notice.
Correct.
Okay, so this was an accidental notice, which doesn't affect this
No.
project now. Okay, you just by chance, and so you can see what we're at. We have a bylaw and it says there's a 25-foot no touch zone, 50-foot no build zone. We're not going after the garage, but we're being reasonable about it. What we're looking for is reduce the size of the driveway. I mean, you don't need something that is going to be that wide unless you're gonna, I don't know, park 18-wheelers on there or, there's no problem.
When his consultant was here at the last meeting, he told us that he wanted to pave the whole thing so he could get his trucks in and out of the garage. So that means he didn't want to small it up.
And that means,
He was looking for access out back. And I don't know what you want, above ground pool and a few other things, this is fine. But now you're not willing to work with us and now you want to bring trucks in?
but I honestly think that it's a miscommunication. I honestly do.
Well, it wasn't with his consultant at the last one, because his consultant stood right there and I asked him to his face. So, and I mean, I don't even know the client, but
Mr. Crawford, we have 3 more pages of agenda and I don't want to be here past 10 o'clock.
No, that's fine, that's fine.
Oh,
I'm saying that I don't,
okay,
it's made out of frustration. So take it. What you want.
maybe then,
I can accept
if
that.
this is so, then we can continue it till next month. And
Which I think-
if they're not here, if they don't come the following time, if everything's miscommunication, then we should be able to settle this rather easily. And we're looking for 25-foot no touch and that's it.
Motion to continue to 7:20.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have a notice of intent. Application by James Logan, 0 Prospect Street, map 4, lot 370 for a single family house with amenities which include a garage, gravel driveway, sewer and water connection at the street. A portion of the project is within the regulated 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland and an intermittent stream. A portion of the project is within an estimated habitat of rare wildlife as designated by the Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program. A Massachusetts Endangered Species Act application was filed by the applicant to NHESP DEP file number 17-483.
Before you get started, do you have extra copies of the hard copies? Because you guys emailed them to me, but I don't have
Extra copies of the plan?
revised.
No, I did not bring extra copies of that.
Okay,
We will just go over it like this, I guess.
okay, and this is on Prospect Street. Good. Why don't you fill in I'm familiar with it. I don't know if the others are.
Okay. I'm Jason Youngquist from Outback Engineering, and this is a 10-acre parcel located off Prospect Street and also behind the houses on Swanee Drive. It's a 10-acre parcel with significant wetland areas. The applicant is James Logan. He is here as well tonight, and he's proposing to build a single-family home, just one house on the 10-acre parcel. The wetlands are flagged by Greg Drake from our office. DEP commented that there was a stream mapped on GIS in the property, so we went back out and flagged the top of bank flags. The wetland, it's deep within the wetlands. And we also did a stream stat analysis to make sure it wasn't a perennial stream.
When was a stream analysis done?
Stream stat analysis, where we just printed that up. It's a whole data bank that you get online from.
Yeah, I just want you guys to know that I just got that information today. I have not had a chance to look at any of it, and I require additional information at least a week ahead, so.
Yep.
Just so you know.
Yep.
Okay,
So it doesn't meet the criteria for drainage area or flow to be a perennial stream. And that data was provided. And that's a printout from, it's a stream stat analysis that's done. It's a website that analyzes that. And again, when we flagged it, there was no flow in the stream that's out there. And also, it's more than 200 feet, the 200-foot buffer. If it was perennial stream, the 200-foot buffer is right there. We're outside the 200-foot buffer. So the house is tucked on the 10-acre parcel, tucked on the parcel in the corner by the Prospect Street. It's a sewer connection on Prospect Street. So we're just grading and pre-cutting. No work within the 25-foot no touch, and we proposed conservation signs that we've used before with the commission.
Jason,
Yes,
run your pen along that map and show me where Prospect Street is.
Prospect Street here.
It runs, Prospect Street runs east, north-south.
And it takes the bend. This is the bend in Prospect Street right there.
Bill, this is east of Swanee Drive.
Swanee Drive fits here.
Swanee Drive is to the west.
Okay, that's, I can't, of course. I
so,
can't
and
do
the playground is further to the east.
Give me a minute, please.
Come out to Paul Street, soon as you come up.
Is that a but, Benoit?
Okay, now, the map that I have seen, and I'm gonna, you sent in more to Lisa, I'll review that. I haven't had a chance to look at it either. Shows the stream fairly close, somewhere up there, yes. And this morning, I happened to be going on Tremont Street, and there were DOT workers, and they were inspecting the pipeline that goes from there. And I asked, without even getting out of my car, I asked the DOT worker what it was like, and he was telling me there was a stream flow today.
Correct. So that's quite a ways farther down.
No, I know that. I know that.
At that point, it does turn into a stream, but at this point, we're just beginning. This is the first sign of channelization is right here.
Huh.
There's no water, there's no flow. There's water in the wetlands, but there's no flow there right now. And that's the first sign of channelization. And again, if you do the stream stat analysis farther down, where it's got a bigger drainage area, it probably would meet the criteria for a perennial stream. But at this point where it just starts, the drainage area is not large enough.
Okay, what is your calculation of distance from house or garage or structure to the closest point to the stream?
To the stream, 200-foot buffer comes right to our edge of work. So 250 feet.
Well, you sent all this information, so we'll have to review it.
Yep, absolutely.
I just want to remind the commission, so the USGS map is the planning tool that we use, the Dayton Conservation Commission, to determine what's perennial and what's an intermittent. DEP also requested that. So did you hear back from DEP at all?
On the stream stat analysis, no,
Yeah, okay.
that's all been sent through.
The site. This is the stream. And I think we need to look at that. I know in order to really determine if a stream is intermittent versus perennial, you can't look at it during a drought, which is when he flagged it during a drought.
Yes, so he went back out and did the top of bank flags last week.
He's still calling it intermittent, so
It is intermittent because it doesn't meet the stream stat analysis for a perennial stream.
we're gonna defer to DEP.
Mhm.
to see what they have to say about it. But it is still shown here.
And again, that's just a graphic representation on USGS, so it's not precise. You're not going to get down to the nearest 50 feet on something like that. That's why you have to go out. That's why there is the stream stat analysis and all that.
The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention, how many flags are out there now? It's over 60, right?
Well, we're doing our limit of work. There's not many. I mean, it keeps going down here because it's a 10-acre parcel, but we're not doing any work down there. So where we're actually doing the work, there's no more than 20.
Right, but the site is showing over 60. I think we need peer review.
For 20 flags, I don't even think it's 20. That's 20.
But I'm 25 hours a week on a full-time job, part-time, no admin help, so. You have to understand where I'm coming from.
Hmm.
A site like that, with this size, with that many flags.
And what is the size of the whole lot?
It's 10 acres, but we're not doing any work.
I understand that, but I just, okay, and you got a minimum of 20 flags that are out there scattered over at least a few acres.
Yeah. It's a 10-acre property, but we're only working in a quarter acre of it,
Okay.
half acre of it. So it's not like it's a big subdivision or anything like that. It's one single family home.
Take most of those flags off for us to only be approving the ones adjacent to the project.
What we've done in the past is we'll put a line across there and saying that this is the limit of limit of wetland line approval. So we've done that on plans before.
That would be better.
Without peer review, you're saying? Okay. All right, then we'll need to continue so we can get the time to get out there and
Check with
review what you have sent already to Lisa this week.
And we did get back from Natural Heritage today. They sent a no-take letter, so they were fine with everything.
Well. Okay, I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Do you know which species they were talking about, or?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I will look at it again, but it was a no-take. They didn't have any issues.
You're fading away on me.
It was a no take. They didn't have any issues with the project. Or require any sort of restrictions or anything like that.
So if anybody in the audience is wondering what he's talking about, this is a rare species habitat. Yeah. So,
Can we see what he's talking
of course, yeah. The commission's gonna open it up for you guys to ask, I think now.
Commission have any questions of me first?
Well, we're gonna have time to do the more review.
Did you guys want to ask me any questions before they all start?
Okay, it is a risk habitat, right?
Yes, that's, and they issued a no-take letter saying that the project would not impact the endangered species on site.
That's what the no take is what I was, it wasn't filtering in, okay. Well, I guess got some interest there, wow.
Yep. So I will guess you'll turn it over to them to ask questions, I guess. I don't.
Well, let them look at it first and then they can ask questions.
You explain to us?
Streams out here.
That was all cleared originally. When they was doing this.
That's what you're calling the stream down here? Okay, I know I've been out there, I know my property, my property.
I used to live up on Wheeler.
I'm just saying what I see, I've been out there.
Yep, no.
All the way down.
Yeah, up at the- Yeah, it's so, wow, really, it's a little higher than that.
Yep.
That was-
Right. be continued till next month.
Oh, this, yeah.
Yeah.
That's another day.
Linda Carter.
No. Your next. Continue this.
We are going to review the maps that they are sending us, and we're going to look to see where the stream and the wetlands are. We have a 200-foot jurisdiction from streams. I don't know if there's, we have 200 foot from the high water mark on vernal pools. I don't believe there's any vernal pools on that property, but there is a stream that runs south from somewhere in there. Somewhere, I don't know exactly where. That's what we're going to determine, where that stream begins. And because we know it flows under Tremont Street. I was there today to view that side. And
You don't know where the northern comes.
that's correct. And that's what we're going to determine.
Oh, okay.
You know,
So
if
I
we,
need to conduct site investigation. Oh, so you're gonna be going down there again,
okay, so that could, okay, I saw a hand up at the back. Yes, sir, your name. Excuse me, with the rest of you, please quiet down so we can hear Mr. Logan.
Land was my father's once. My father was gonna put a road in, if you look on Swanee. That was one time somebody put an hibachi game on that, whatever. So that particular side of the road, there was, that road went in, there was people around here that know that there was a road, my father started to put a road in, he had a cable system tractor that he rented off G loads. The cable broke, and the thing went down in the ditch. Now we have an elevation of dirt and material that goes up, which retains groundwater in return, has caused this quote unquote stream that you guys are talking about. I believe when you guys go out there and look at the land, you'll understand what we're up against on that.
Well, that's what we're gonna do.
To know that just here, explaining why that street has become more towards Prospect Street, because all the groundwater and all the housing, everything runs downhill, obviously, you know, we have a road, we have an elevation called berm. My dad was putting the road in at one time, has caused a water pollution.
Now, for your information, everyone else, alterations are made to the topography by many occurrences. And this is why land surveyors and the rest have to redetermine every so many years what has altered, what has been altered, and what new features have developed. So we don't know if that's but a new feature is still a feature.
This was done in the 80s. Okay, so it's been 30 years, 40 years.
Well,
No, I'm not saying.
yeah,
But what I'm getting at is we take this from engineering, we brought it to you guys' attention, I'd like you guys to go out there. And you'll see exactly what we're doing. Believe a lot of this is a man-made condition on this end of the building where he's proposed to build the house all the way up behind Mrs. Benoit's. It's nothing towards approachment. We additional engineering for this board, these are asked to be requested. Apologize to raise you on the day of today. However, if you have that in front of you, I would like to go to at least, if you're gonna want to go out there, let us know, we'll walk out there with you and show you exactly what we're up against. That's what I have to say.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Is the house staked out at all?
Not at the moment, but if you're gonna be heading out there, we can put some stakes in for you.
That'd be good.
Let us know when you're gonna be going and we'll get it staked in.
So put stakes at the limit of disturbance.
Yep, it's just 25, it's the 25-foot no touch.
50-foot structures.
Yes. Yep, 25 for the limit of work.
We want to get as close. And yes, I will go with someone, but normally it's one of my commissioners, you know.
Call me, I live right there, I'll go with you.
Okay,
So
I'm looking-
Carry.
All kinds of stuff.
That was fun when you're out on a site and you.
Okay.
Living out,
anyone have any questions for Mr. Youngquist?
living out there, woods illegally, that's the interesting ones.
We're gonna do.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay,
Turn around and leave.
any more questions for Mr. Youngquist? Do I have a motion to continue?
Motion to continue to 7:20.
I'll second.
One more thing. Do you have the limit of FEMA flood zone on that?
Limit of the FEMA flood zone, I'd have to check on it. So I don't see it right now, but I'll check on it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, seconded over here by Jack, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the 20th, July 20th. Okay, new hearing. Notice of intent by Robert Brimmer, 2050 Horton Street, lot 7, on map 7, lot 26-02 for a proposed corrective action plan and after the fact filing. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay,
Plans, do you want me to just pass them out?
okay, grab your cookie and, okay, to continue on with that, it's proposed corrective action plan to address a previous violation. The corrective action plan is permitting existing, constructed within the resource area. Okay, with those exiting, please do so we can have a quiet forum here.
That's a little better. Yep.
Two sheets.
Okay,
That's for the next. Oh, okay. That one's for, that's 1341.
I'm sorry, Bill.
Oh, we've got Center Street right here, Lisa.
Yeah, there was three for center and there was,
Gotcha.
This is the next one.
that's the next one.
Yeah.
wait a minute, that can't be the one, because that's separate.
Yeah, that's second.
Okay, yeah, one after this, okay,
What's the one after? Sorry.
Spirits.
Now I'm down here, Lisa, we'll have. This one's.
Okay.
Here you go.
All right.
Okay,
I'm gonna stay up here and look at them all.
okay.
Ms. Mary's, do you want this?
Okay. This is Mr. Brimmer and his corrective action. Okay. Sir, your name?
Good evening. My name is Mark Mariano with Oak Hill Engineering.
Sorry, Mark?
Mariano, Mariano. With Oak Hill Engineering, 368 Fairview Ave, Rehoboth, Mass. And I'm representing Robert Brimmer of 2050 Horton Street for a corrective action plan and an after the fact filing for structures found within resource area. The current property was developed in the early 2000s. And these barns and structures have been here since, I'm gonna say around 2008. What we have in front of you right now is a corrective action plan to establish a 25-foot buffer zone and to permit structures that are found within 200-foot buffer area. We are looking for the after fact filing on a barn, shed, and a walking bridge that's found over a perennial stream. The perennial stream was flagged March of this year, as well as the wetlands. They were captured by our team and transposed onto this plan. What we try to do is provide a pretty detailed plan showing edge of clearing, edge of path, and existing trees that are found within resource area. What we are proposing for corrective action is, as I said before, a reestablishment of vegetation found within the 25-foot buffer. Currently, it's pretty well established at this point. We're also going to fortify that with establishing posts and signs to delineate the edge of that 25-foot resource area going forward. The pathway is pretty well developed. It's just pretty much a walking path, so it's not that gravel or anything was added. It's just, you know, the loom that was originally found there today.
Okay.
The bridge is used for foot traffic to go to the rear of his property.
there was a little dugout along the stream that's going to be just left as is because it's going to,
Yeah, any further alteration would just create more disturbance. It's well established.
yeah.
It's aquatic environment right there, so it's being more favorable to just leave it as it is right now.
And in the back, beyond the footbridge, is that just going to let go to natural vegetation?
Yep.
Or is that, okay?
The establishment.
Oh, there was also, I don't know if you mentioned this, that the applicant's proposing to hand remove any man-made debris and allow 25 foot behind the existing, I'm sorry, more than the 25, yeah, the 25 foot behind the barn. Abolition.
Yep, we got a note on our plan to hand remove any man-made debris that's found within that buffer zone or within the wetlands.
So this is stemming from an enforcement order that the applicant had received. How long ago was that? Maybe a year?
Year and a half.
So they're doing the right thing. I do have a list of your comments that you were responding to the EP that you sent me.
You can read them off if you like.
Want you?
The DEP had 5 comments. 2 of which are pretty straightforward. The signature page didn't show up on their receipt, so it's pretty straightforward. We can send that to them. They needed the data plots for the BBW. They wanted just clarification on what structures will be permitting after the fact. So as I explained, we have the shed, barn, and walking bridge. That will be detailed in the memo as well. The question was any fill placed in the pathway? And my response was no fill was placed in the pathway. It's maintained as loom. Most of the pathway is out of BBW. There is a narrow section of the path that extends to the walking bridge that's found within the BBW, but it hasn't been grade changed or gravels added. Was the footbridge crossing constructed in compliance with the stream crossing standards, and were there any bank or land underwater impacts with the footbridge? So the bridge is constructed with 2 concrete waste blocks on either side as the abutment. They were placed on the edge of the embankment. There is a wood substructure and a wood topping on that. Based on the requirements for a stream crossing standards, they mainly look for an open channel. So we're still in the open channel. We're not because of the age of it right now, the aquatic life has developed and it's established. Hasn't produced any throwaway issues or scour as a result. So it's an after the fact.
What has grown back already?
Identifying of plants. And identify the plants, but within the buffer zone, there was some in the hatched area was some yard debris and stuff like that. You do see the vegetation that was common to what's found north of that to be growing up through that area.
And Chairman, the data form are forthcoming from the wetland scientists, and those will tell us what the vegetation is.
Okay, and the additional plantings?
He's letting it vegetate. Mark, you have compost filter stock?
Yes.
Why?
You know what? That might be just a standard that we show on all of our wetland plans, so we could certainly pull that off. There really isn't any actually that's going to be installed on this project because there isn't any ground disturbance other than the posts.
Okay, so, but hand removal of any debris, do you think that would require some?
I don't think so, no.
It's pretty densely vegetated out there already. The field itself Is that reverting to scrub?
The field is probably
Yeah.
this high
Yeah,
or so. I can tell it's full of ticks. Oh, there's plenty of ticks from it. I have pictures on my phone if you guys want to see it. The only thing I did do, I should have or not, is I planted 4 walnut trees. Just
it's
so.
an exempt activity.
Okay, so it could, because I want to plant some walnut trees and some different type of trees back there, just small stuff, let it grow back in. Just so it's nice and clean and, you know, everything is decent. I just go back there with no so they can free and backfill it.
Okay.
So I'm not looking to build anything, I'm not looking to do anything.
Are there requirements for different vegetation types?
As long as it's native, you can plant.
Okay, no, I meant for him to do, or is it filling in sufficiently on its own?
Well,
Oh, it's all filled in, you can't even walk in.
yeah, so it's revegetating.
Okay, so,
The main, you know, the concern was the structures, the 3 structures here, right? So. I think, you know, we can have them put the posts in sooner than later at the 25 foot. Cause that's all gonna be established.
Most of what is there is about 14 years old. So nothing has really been touched for years.
It's stabilized.
you know, when the last time I was there, I know everything was growing back then. And so the native vegetation is overtaking it.
And some real nice wood ducks. All right.
So, but there were no wetland alterations, correct, Mark? Like, I mean, other than the footbridge that
Just the
happened.
footbridge, the path to the footbridge.
But that's only gonna be a walking.
It's only a walking path, yeah.
And the mitigation for the footbridge is to allow that 25 foot to revert, which it already has been, and then allow the field to grow in. And there's planting trees. Do you think we need any other planting, Mark?
I don't think so. I mean, the vegetation around there just grows really fast.
Yes. Because we never added any fill to that. It was just loam.
Was all native soils to begin with, and just, okay.
That's
Yeah.
Okay,
okay. So, I'd like to see what DEP comes back and asks for.
Yep, so we can request a continuance.
Yeah.
So I'd like to request a continuance till
7:20.
7:20.
Correct?
No, we don't have that number yet.
Oh, wait, there's,
This one here.
yes, there is seven.
TBD.
Oh, two
Oh, yeah.
TBD, okay,
Gotcha.
okay.
Motion to continue to 7:20.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye,
If anybody wants to do a site visit, let me know.
I do.
Okay. Now you're on for the next one. Notice of intent application for Mary Wilczek. 1341 Center Street, map 12, lot 16 -02 for a proposed Title V septic system repair to a failed to repair a failed Title V system, including but not limited to excavation, tree and brush removal, installation of septic system, site grading and excavation within 100 foot of the bordering vegetated wetland, file number 17-484.
Good evening, Mark Mariano with Oak Hill Engineering, 368 Fairview Ave, Rehoboth, Mass. Tonight representing Mary Wilczek of 1341 Center Street in the pursuit of a notice of intent to replace a failed Title V septic system within 100 feet of bordering vegetated wetlands. We are currently placing the system place where the current system is. 200-gallon tank, 2-compartment tank. Upper level being the gradient goes up as you take that turn in the driveway. So we're gravity feeding down to a new Presby septic system. Shows the Presby septic the advanced treatment that the system provides to be groundwater and to be within resource areas. System is an improvement from what's found there today. The current system is about 4 feet in the ground, so it is in the groundwater. This will be approximately about 2 feet above the ground. And what we did in this case is we've landscaped the south, actually north end of the property with some boulders to make it look like it blends in with the surrounding area. There are a couple trees that need to come down within the buffer zone, but those are necessary in order to put in the system. The existing true tree line is not going to be altered in any way. The site will be protected by erosion controls, which consist of a compost tube. We do have a DP number on this. And for citing it here is we found actually excellent soils for Dayton. We had a 2-minute perk rate and it was all sand. Favorable conditions.
So how many trees will be removed? I know it's mostly in an open field area, correct?
Yeah, I'm proposing 2.
Okay.
2 and some low bushes.
This is the best system rather than that Japanese system that they have around.
The Fuji, yes, I prefer to do this for one reason, well, many reasons. One, it's doesn't require yearly maintenance. 2, you do get a reduction. This is an NSF 40 approved system. 3, the cost is significantly less than putting in the Fuji system in a bottomless sand filter. Materials are readily sourced and quite common to contractors in the area to be able to install it. So it's the kind of the choice of doing that, so.
Okay. I was just wondering if you took that under consideration, that's all.
No, that's fine, yeah.
Had a few of those in.
So when we look to a nitrogen treatment system, we're looking at places that, you know, either are very close to wellheads or are close to waterways, or the lot size is really small. Anything like that, you know, it's kind of DEP wants looking at the last possible option to be able to do that.
Okay.
Because the favorable soils, the amount of area we had here, we're able to keep it out of that 50-foot buffer zone. And I think we're at like 67 at this point. Like we went with that type. And gravity feeding too.
Anybody have any questions for him?
I got another question, couple of them. So the retaining wall you have,
Boulders, yep.
are you gonna put that back?
There, what retaining wall?
The retaining wall, the
Boulder retaining wall.
connection goes through.
So those are the boulders that are just kind of laid on their side. Yeah, they could go back into place, so they may be reconfigured not to drop in a pipe.
And then what will you guys do with protection on the drip line of the trees somehow that you wanna keep? Because there's a few trees along in the area of.
So there are 2 trees that we're requesting to preserve, and those are the smaller. They were called Elizabeth Maplewood or something. So those we are calling out to preserve. The other 2 are kind of in the line of path. As far as around the system, those 2 are coming out. I don't often do the tree protection because that system is allowed to go within like 10 feet of a tree, but.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking for the installer. You know, they take a shortcut or something next time, you know, the roots are ran over and the trees
Okay.
back there. We're also thinking about the bats now. So bats are now on the endangered species list. So all projects, and this one wouldn't be included, but I do want to talk to you guys about it. all projects that aren't federally funded or federally permitted, that are federally funded or federally permitted have to meet, endangered species rules. This one, of course, is not. However, we can recommend that tree removal be limited during May through August, and that just to let the homeowners know that you're taking that risk by removing trees during that time, because that is the hot season. But in any case,
How big are these trees?
So if you look at the plan, it gives you the diameter. So 20, that one's fairly large, but I think we can kind of get around that one. It's kind of just suspect with that electric line.
Is that diameter or is
Yeah,
that circumference?
Diameter,
Okay,
and then that's an 8-inch.
okay.
I think that's.
Actually, something that large, really, you're not gonna have much,
just,
except a squirrel or two.
it's like just a
Yeah,
warning, you don't want to have to take unnecessary. Just an example, I'm thinking about the larger projects. I want to make you guys aware.
hey, do we have any other questions? Any questions from the audience? Do we have a motion to accept their plan?
One thing I wanted is have the doctors at the 25-foot.
We don't, because they would be in the woods at that point.
Yeah. So maybe we could put the placards at like the 50-foot. Just in the.
I mean, if you want them in the woods, we could certainly set 2 just on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt, so the owners. I'm not saying, I think that you go to close.
We can certainly add 2. It's not a big deal.
Great.
Okay. You're all set, Lisa? Hey, is there a motion to accept the proposed work?
Motion to accept opposed work.
There's a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Guys, and then we'll.
I'll
Yes,
drop
21
this.
days to issue this order of conditions, and there is a 10-day appeal period. Everybody knows.
And
You guys,
you want this to, that's the septic. Lisa, you got the septic over there, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That item that you read. So. Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's still cold.
Got it, one
I got
more.
mine.
All right, moving on.
Okay. Request for a certificate of compliance by Darian Susan Adams for property at 2675 Park Avenue, DEP file number 17-474. Lisa, I know that you've inspected that, and is everything satisfactory?
Yes, it is. I have it for you to sign as well.
Okay, motion to issue the certificate of compliance.
Motion to accept certificate of
Or
compliance,
to issue a
to
certificate.
issue a certificate of compliance.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We didn't ask if anyone had any questions.
Oh,
No?
Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, a request from Paul Duart for a certificate of compliance at 578 Hot Street, formerly 0 Hot Street, map 20, lot 3, DEP file number 17-370.
As an abutter, I have to excuse myself.
Lisa, I know that you've been out there to the property. Has everything been satisfactorily done according to the order of conditions?
Yeah, the site is stabilized as well. So. I have it here tonight.
Okay, wait a minute. When you sign this,
Oh, I have to be sworn in by the Board of Selectmen prior to being able to sign.
oh, we just reorganized your okay, all right. If you want to wait, then okay. No problems with the certificate of compliance as far as finishing everything that they applied for. Everything that they were ordered to do.
The work's been done
Okay,
for a while.
okay. Is there a motion to issue a certificate of compliance to Paul Duart?
Can I speak first?
Okay, you may speak.
Thank you. Lisa, what is that pile of material in the driveway? About this high? About from me to you long?
It's like bricks,
What is it?
bricks.
It's bricks? What is the concrete form? It's about this high. It runs on the east side of the house and it runs in an easterly direction.
Hold on a second.
It doesn't look like bricks. It looks like stone. Bricks are usually square. What is it?
This stone,
Okay. You sure you went out there?
that was out there tonight.
Oh, okay. And the back of the property is all stabilized also?
Yes, it is.
It is?
Yes, I have photos. I have photos.
Okay. The house isn't complete. There's a load of material in the driveway,
The house,
some sort of a footing in the front. It's not complete.
it doesn't matter if the house is complete or not.
Okay.
West conservation. Is the house in the right location? The foundation is complete? The site is stabilized, the septic system.
Is that load of material, that load of stone, is that on the property? Is that supposed to be controlled? Is it anything on the, as far as the Conservation Commission goes?
Outside of our area of concern.
Well, all this,
Septic system is outside the 100 foot and these.
I know the septic, where the septic system is. What I'm saying is this property is not completed. What is that? What's this big pile of material that's in the driveway though, that's supposed to be secured? What is that? Stone. It's not brick, it's stone.
It's not.
It's not large, they're this size. Like something you would use for the base of a building or something.
It's well up, they're being stored well outside of our 100 foot. There's no jurisdiction there. Unless it's in the 100 foot and he's gonna put it in the resource.
Oh my goodness.
You guys want to see the photos?
Sure.
Bill, you should step down until they're done. Oh. Here's a view looking west on the street near the ditch / intermittent stream.
Oh, yeah, I know where this is.
Okay, this is a view from the street. It's all grown in.
I'd like to see the picture of the north side of the property.
This is the north side of the property. That's his drive, part of his driveway. Now, mind you, I mean, I can get the as-built plan, but the septic system was even outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. So the yard and the house, and none of that is in our jurisdiction. It's below this where it drops off. That's inside of our jurisdiction. These are the two piles that Bill's asking about.
Who made this motion? Okay.
I'm just gonna get the as-built plan for you guys if you wanna look at it. So you can see the distances. Here's a small version. You have good eyes. I'm assuming. So 100 way down here. Okay. So really, the only work we're concerned about is the work in this area. We really don't, we don't have any jurisdiction over any other work on the property.
No, when I went by there, it was highly grown, and those rocks aren't going to leach.
That's back here.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, slow down a little bit. I don't know where, I don't know what you're showing.
This is the north side of the house. North, looking north. Looking
Oh,
west.
Can you go back there? Just slow down and give me, there, thank you.
Well, I don't know what your line of vision is. Sorry.
Look at that one though.
My husband is way out here. So, oh, I know.
Didn't know he had, I didn't know the back of the property was stable, but that certainly needs to be addressed.
But that's not in our jurisdiction. You can call the building department if you want.
No, I don't want to call the building department, but in tonight's agenda, you referred to DEP file number 0170370. That expired 5 years ago.
Right. So we should be happy that he's asking for a certificate of compliance.
We should be happy that he's asking for it.
Yeah.
I guess I ought to be happy.
Any questions from the audience? Is there a motion to issue a certificate of compliance at the Hot Street address 578?
Motion to accept certificate of compliance.
Issue.
Issue, I'm sorry.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Say hands this one.
Thank you.
Okay, we have bills payable, Gay and Gay. File number 791.259 in the amount of $400. Is there a motion to pay this bill?
Make a motion to pay Gay, $400.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a bill, Nova Environmental Consulting LLC invoice 1035, the amount of $3,312.50. Is there a motion to pay that bill?
Motion to pay, over environmental, $1,312.50.
I need everybody to
Is
sign.
there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sign these.
Okay, do we need a motion to pay a bill for Dan Lowry Constable Services invoice in the amount of $50?
Make a motion, we pay, constable service. Dollar.
all of them.
Is there a second?
You gotta sign all of them. Okay. All four.
Is there a second?
Second,
All in favor? Aye. Okay, Beta invoice 1085. Two for Strawberry Fields Consulting, $3,742.87. Is there a motion to pay that bill?
Make a motion, we pay Beta. 4287.
Is there a second?
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there any, headway on that, Jim, that you know of, Strawberry Field?
Only for the lawyers.
No, I didn't know if there was any update on that progress.
There should be, because we just today received a very large bill, so
No, just.
Marty said it would be a while before we heard, but
All these, every one of, each page, Lisa?
yes, oh, no, not each page. That's one bill.
Okay,
This is another, and another, and another. I should have four signatures, but I don't. Oh, Bill. Oh, you can't sign this side.
and Bill can sign that bill. Okay, Lisa, make sure that there's several papers here. Make sure that you have sufficient signatures. Actually, I think, am I really the only one who needs to sign them?
I'll find out. I don't really know. Do you know?
At the time that we approve it, we can authorize one member of the commission to sign on
He
behalf.
was, yeah. So I guess,
Okay,
all right. I'm a signatory too, but I'd rather have you guys sign them.
Ada.
Thank you.
We have one more here, I think. No, this is next.
New one.
Okay.
all right, moving on.
Okay, review, discuss, act, request by Justin Pratt at CMP 13-215. DFW, NHESP 4-16530. And 40 Morris to remove 5 eastern white pine trees.
Good evening, gentlemen. Justin Pratt, the owner. I was here a couple months ago. I don't know if you remember me, to have some trees removed. During that process, I had the contractor pointed out that there were a couple more trees that need to be removed. They're in danger of falling. Also very big. So I spoke to Lisa about it. And she told me to contact Mass Wildlife and get their approval first, which I did. I had an independent contractor, ISA certified arborist. I don't know if you guys want to review these reports. 2 copies. By the name of Seth Cook, he came out and reviewed the site and certified that they need to be removed for safety reasons. They were, a few are infested with boar
Okay,
beetles, and then another couple were disturbed during construction with the roots being cut. He recommended that the 5 get removed as soon as possible. I got approval from Deanne Merrill with Mass Wildlife, who also spoke to Lisa. And then I also got approval from the holder of the conservation, who I think is still Rick, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know if it's been transferred. Yeah, so Rick was set with Maris Development. He approved, he signed off, and now I just need your approval.
Justin, do you take the stump out too?
I mean, last time she told me, Lisa told me not to, so I just cut to level,
Okay.
and left, I only took out big pieces and left small,
I just wanted to
minimize
hit it.
disturbance,
How close are they to your house?
within 50 feet.
I'm gonna make a suggestion, take some earth, mound it up, plant some flowers on it, and every year add more soil. And then, and as it rots down but just watch out for termites.
Heritage wanted them to leave the stump, just so you know.
Yeah, that's why.
Habitat, they told me, so.
Yeah, but all those trees in my yard that came down over the years, you got where I planted flowers and mounded it, it's perfect.
Recommendation. I'm going to replace some of the areas with a couple trees just to fill in any, removed and fill it in a little bit quicker.
Okay, any commission questions? Any questions from the commissioners?
It's from Natural Heritage.
Misty told me just to remove the large pieces because they would disturb. I just placed them, the trees are 70 to 100 feet, so she told me to leave only small material.
That the work's gonna be done.
By a crane, yeah.
And you still have the erosion controls in case there's any ground disturbance.
So there.
So after you're done taking the trees down, can you just let me know? I'll come look and then maybe we can just remove the erosion controls in good shape.
Yeah, I talked to Rick about that and he said after you give me the approval, he'll remove them. So,
Well, yeah, so after the trees.
correct. Yep.
Okay, any questions from the commissioners? Anyone from the audience? Can I have a motion to accept the removal of 5 Eastern White Pine from Mr. Pratt's property?
Motion to remove 5 eastern white pine trees.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set.
I'll take their fourth.
Okay.
Absolutely. Sure.
Watch for bats.
They cut them at night, you're all right.
Okay, tonight we have seen what has happened. We've seen what has happened when boards are not given proper communication. And so what we're going to do is review, discuss, act on a letter to the Board of Selectmen concerning the lack of communication that has led to trouble in various areas. We saw it on William Street. We saw it down on along the river. We've seen it in several areas, including Hot Street, further west of the property we just dealt with. And we have to have communication with other departments, and the departments must be in communication with Conservation Commission. It is my recommendation that we send a letter to the selectmen saying that these problems cannot continue because it's going to be a liability for the town, and it's going to make the town look ridiculous if we still have these problems in the future, where building permits are given to people to construct in wetland zones or in the buffer zone. I don't know if any of you have comments that you would like to make. I have prepared a draft of this letter. And I don't know if you'd like me to read it. It's probably pretty close to being finished. Maybe it is finished. And then you can approve or disapprove.
I'd be happy to hear it.
Okay, Board of Selectmen and Mr. Mike Mullen, it is this commission's desire that you take under consideration the problems created by the building department. Multiple times permits have been issued without conservation notification or with insufficient response time. A site plan is a must with ample review time by the commission. Permits have been issued to build in buffer zones, riverfront areas, and in our no-touch zone. This cannot continue. We must have a standard operating procedure and followed to preserve the integrity of the town and prevent liability issues. Anybody on the commission wish to make a comment on that?
That's fine. No, I mean, it needs to be done.
Needs to be done.
I know, because here tonight, we spent most of our time dealing with that.
We have another matter too, a new one that just occurred in the past couple of weeks that I received an email about, and I've been dealing with the homeowners on. So I haven't even brought that one up yet.
No, so that's in addition, that's even after all of this. Okay, Mr. Hull.
The only thing that I would suggest you may want to add to your letter is a request for a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen to resolve and discuss and resolve this issue.
No, the resolving is having a plan and then following it. We cannot make the plan. There's got to be a plan. I don't know who's going to draw up the plan, whether it's Mike Mullen or whether it's the selectmen. But it has to go through levels of procedure and it must be followed. Permits cannot be given out to individuals without some kind of communication with other departments. Whether it be putting in septic tanks too close to the wetlands, putting in garages in no build zones, giving permits to build driveways and 25-foot no touch zones. I mean, it's crazy. You know, you see what's happening.
Someone who attends these. I totally agree with you. And I totally agree.
But I'm not sure. I mean, it's got to be done, and I don't know if we produce the standard, there's got to be something already out there, but it's not being followed. Nancy.
Sign off on it.
Nancy Goulart, Chairman of the Stormwater Committee. What you're describing was a problem that was really brought to light in about 2018 when the Stormwater Committee was appointed. The reason why those 7 members from those various departments are represented, and your commission is one of them, was because there was not good communication. So there was a form, there is a form, not was, there is a form that lists everybody who might have to sign off on a given project, whether it's a solar farm, a housing development, or whatever. As long as that was followed, we didn't have problems. We coordinate because you have representation on stormwater. We have to know what's happening with planning. We have to know what's happening with building and everything. It has broken down on the Stormwater Committee also. All right. And the problem is there is a feeling that the stormwater has overstretched its bound. I think the basis for that is a statement I made when we had vacancies. I stated publicly at a planning board meeting when I was trying to get somebody to volunteer to fill a vacancy. Probably the 2 most powerful committees in this town are the Stormwater Committee and the Conservation Commission, simply because you have the Wetlands Protection Act We have the Clean Water Act. They're federally mandated. You have bylaws that have been approved by the town and the Attorney General. We have a bylaw and regs that have been approved. Newton Tedder at EPA has clearly stated to me in writing that if your bylaws, I'll use yours, Nick, but specifically stormwater, if there is not compliance and enforcement by the town, and EPA gets a complaint, they investigate. Who do you think gets fined? Not the developer, not the builder, the town of Dayton. The town of Dayton was fined in 2006 for non-compliance. Back then, it was 3,000. We have done our best to make sure we don't get fined again. The problem you are describing doesn't need another form. It needs the form that was developed and agreed upon to be signed off on. And if something comes to us that's not our turf, it just says NA and you pass it on to the next person. But there were all these steps that have to be followed. Planning, building, we have street department, everybody. No, I'm talking the committee itself. And of the 7 on the committee, all the major committees or boards are represented. If we need somebody that's not on there, might be police department, it might be the fire department, it might be zoning, whoever we need, we ask them to come to a meeting so they can give us input. The process, the form is in place. It has not been enforced for at least the last 11 months.
Whose job is it to enforce it?
Everybody who's on that should get it and be able to sign off. The problem comes when I made the statement about the 2 most powerful committees in this town. And what I said to the planning board is, we're not a fluff committee. We actually have to do things under federal mandate. We actually report to the feds, the EPA, the MS4, the notice of intent, all of that. We report directly to them and they have to approve what we do. Again, when that form was developed, everyone agreed to it. There were concerns from the building department that whether it's you or the stormwater committee or other departments, because we have certain requirements and there are time elements involved, we're holding up development. We're holding up this. We don't have an option if we're trying to enforce the rules and regs that have been approved. And when I made that remark, it wasn't to throw weight around or anything else. It was pointing out a fact of the responsibility you have and stormwater has. We've shut down together. We shut down a solar farm simply because of violations. They had violations of Wetland Protection Act and they had stormwater violations. But because their wetland protection violations were more serious than stormwater, Mrs. Caledonia took the lead. I said to her, you guys take the lead. We'll be right with you because when your issues are resolved, most of the stormwater issues will be resolved. But it was because of the federal clout that comes behind us. Nobody wants to deal with a fine again, okay? Nobody wants to deal with that. So what I'm saying is get the form that everyone signs off on and make sure everybody that signs off on it understands to protect the town of Dayton, to protect the residents, to protect the taxpayers. You've got to follow the form that was set up and approved. It doesn't make sense to rush a building permit if you've got conservation concerns or you've got stormwater concerns. We have all got to work together to do this. So I just want you to know, it's not only the Conservation Commission that is kind of being ignored, pushed aside, because we're dealing with it too.
So what it comes down to is that department has to be held responsible for all of these permits that are given out without the proper procedure being followed, because it's giving us headaches and giving us troubles. And as you saw, even Lisa, she read the comment, I won't see her in court. Well, you know, I mean, why should that happen to us when it's somebody else's screw up?
I will also add to the list the planning board, because they've also had to address this.
Okay.
So they run into problems too with construction beginning without permits. I mean, one member of the planning board actually took pictures of construction. And there was no building permit on site. So I guess the thing is, the Board of Selectmen have got to mandate, you must follow the list that was developed originally so that all of the appropriate parties that either have to sign off and give approval or say, not our turf, go ahead, we're not involved. It's got to be enforced.
Okay. I hope someone doesn't get rewarded after all of these problems. Yes,
Is
Jason.
there one particular document that has to have signatures from each person?
Lisa?
How does it get past you guys? Is my question.
So there's a couple of things. There's, what Nancy was speaking of is the one page. I think it's front and back, for all the departments to sign off. But I'm told that that form is only used for a building permit for a single family residence or a solar project. Okay, so I haven't seen one of those go around in a while. However, I am also on permitting. So I'm one of the departments that is signed up to be involved with permitting in the building department to keep our.
Every permit that comes to the town.
Nope, it's not a big permit. It's the ones that are tasked to me by the building department.
So they don't acknowledge to you if it's potential wetlands, you don't have the option.
If they don't acknowledge to the building department that there's wetlands, or the building department doesn't ask, or I don't ask. So the problem that I don't know how it's tasked to me, but the ones that the building department thinks I need to see, I'm tasked. Now, what's happened in the past, I know there's been trouble because people have looked at the Mass DEP wetland map. The Mass DEP wetland map is referred to by a lot of people, but it's not referred to by professionals. So all of the professionals that I know that are in the wetlands field don't rely on the wetlands map. It's like going to TikTok for your news, I'm telling you. We use soils mapping, on-site survey, different methods. We don't use that map. So when I hear someone call me and say, I don't have any wetlands on my property, I say, how do you know? Or the wetlands on my property are in the back, how do you know? Oh, I looked at the wetlands map. The one that's on the assessors or whatever, and I tell them the same thing. That's not how we determine. So I don't know if the communication is broken down in that. And of course, since I started in January of 21, I do know that we have improved things by adding me to the permit link.
Do you think with your amount of hours, you're able to view all the permitted things that?
Well, if I was tasked, yes. So I don't need to see plumbing permits. I don't need to see electrical. I need to see ground disturbance permits, right?
Okay.
So what I need is I need admin support so that all this paperwork stuff can go away from me a little bit. And we're working on that. That's the next item on the agenda.
One question, Lisa, why does this only apply to solar farms and single family residents?
I don't know who made that rule.
Nancy knows. Nancy probably knows.
But for us to be all inclusive when it was put together. All inclusive does mean all inclusive, not just solar farms, not just single family. I will also tell you this. The planning board, who has representatives has a rep on the stormwater committee, and the zoning board, who does not, when something is coming before them, one of the things they say, you better talk to stormwater. We don't know if it applies or not, but you really have to. We had a zoning issue, as a matter of fact, as collector, Mr. Reynolds got involved in it. But it involved taxes, it involved wetlands, and there were a number of issues. But that came to us because it went to the zoning board. And when zoning found out there were taxes due on it, they said, we can't discuss it till you clear taxes. But then they started talking about what they were going to do in this development. And it was like, you got to talk to stormwater. And of course, because Lisa is on that committee, it's like, so even we as a committee, if it's not her turf, she might say, you need to talk to stormwater, or I might say, that's really conservation. You got to get in touch with them. So as a group, we kind of refer to one another because we don't have all the answers. But planning and zoning have been very good at doing that. Just saying, we don't know if it applies, but you better get in touch with. So as I say, out of the blue, the situation arose. It involves zoning, it involved conservation, it involves stormwater, it involved the tax collector and the Board of Assessors. All right? But because of the nature of it, and we all got together, we all worked together and we got it resolved. And that developer, I'll call it, has now gone back to zoning because everything that was out there hanging got cleared up. They're still going to have to come back to us, but at least they can now propose again. We do communicate, but again, that form worked. There was no question about it.
Then we have to, and who's ever, Mike, selectman, whoever, gotta make sure it works or put penalties on the irresponsible department or individual.
And the other thing is, if in looking at the form that was generated and then that was used successfully, if it needs to be revised, then let's revise it. But you can't skip major steps and you can't skip an order of, if something goes to planning and it makes it through there are steps before a permit is issued to do anything. You got to look at what it is they're going to do and where you refer it. Thank you.
Okay,
And I just want to remind you, as part of our Section 5 requires coordination. It requires coordination with other boards. So any person that files a permit application with conservation must provide a copy at the same time by certified mail and hand delivery to the select board, planning board, board of health, and building inspector. If we revise our regulations, we should probably consider adding stormwater committee.
okay, but Lisa, that's saying if they apply to us, but the problem is they don't apply to us, they just get their permit and then they're
Off and running, right?
okay. So I have a motion to, I'm sorry?
Anything that involves soil disturbance,
Yes,
that needs.
pretty much. Well, and at least it comes under our review. We might say, hey, it doesn't apply.
Usually you turn it around or. I'm turning it around. I mean, the contacting the folks. This is the other issue. Do you have a site plan? Because I don't see one on permanently. To me, there always should be a site plan uploaded when someone applies for a building permit. Always,
So I know.
or a sketch.
I know from someone trying to do things, the steps and procedure for someone who's inexperienced to try to get this process started. Instead of asking you questions and then going to your office and going to your office. Some sort of bullet point procedure that you could hand anyone. Okay, you need this, you need this, you need this. Here's what you need for this. Here's this sheet. Go to folder number 1, 2, or 3. Because it's very difficult to learn.
It's in the
what to
handbook
do.
that selectmen as a graph is put together. And it will talk about sections like zoning and why do you need to go to zoning? Or, but there is a handbook. It was done when selectmen as a graphist.
That every department should have this so that if someone comes to Lisa before they go to building, then Lisa can show them the brochure or give them one and say, this is what you got to do, or the same thing with any other department. Oh,
Yeah, it's more than a brochure. I mean, I don't know if he called it the town handbook, but it had to go before the board, it got reviewed, and And there were a number of them printed.
I've had multiple questions in departments, I've never been. This particular book,
We skip
I wouldn't have bothered a lot of people to try to get it.
No, we're not there yet.
The
next one.
That Selectmen Zagrafis took on, and I think it was when we had our first town administrator. But, so that was what, 3 years ago? Mike's been here 3 years, so,
Yeah.
but it got done, they're here somewhere.
Nancy, are you referring to the Dayton Business Guide?
It could be the business guy.
Okay, because I do know that I'm also a member of the Development Industrial Commission. And we've begun to look at that to do some revisions.
Yeah.
Because there are some, like stormwater is absent, I believe, and there are some omissions now.
It's
Right, right, right.
That guy.
Yeah, if that's what you're referring to, I believe it is the Dayton Business Guide, which is available on the town website. If you go to the search.
Did you
bar-
finish that by tomorrow? Okay, all right, let's kind of end discussion. We've been on this for some time and Lisa wants to get home by 10. Okay, do we have a motion to accept or not a letter to the Board of Selectmen?
Motion to accept the letter.
Or to send a letter? How's that sound?
Right, there you go.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, review, discuss, act, job description for the clerical office person who is to help Lisa.
Exciting. Right. If everybody has it in the back of their agenda, take a quick look at it. I confirmed with Mr. Mullen today that it can be, it can be one job post. However, whatever we come up with the sewer committee
I don't have.
needs to also be voted
Oh, maybe I
on.
did, no.
That's the very last page.
Oh, I had given you your agenda early.
Okay, thank you.
So whatever we come up with the sewer commission needs to be voted on by you guys, sewer, and then water selectmen.
Now, is this in its entirety what you're looking at?
Yep.
So this is approved by, you're happy with this? Okay,
8 hours a week. I mean, the expectation can't be that they
yeah.
change.
So
The
it's
work.
8 for us and 10 for sewer. So that's 18 hours a week for a part-time position to someone to work between the two offices.
Why 8 and 10? Why wouldn't it be 9 and 9? Just curious.
Because of the money that we got 5,000.
Gotcha.
Sewer enterprise
No, we
fund,
got
that's more.
actually 10,000. We got for the year. And that's based upon salaries. That's what it comes out to.
Okay,
So sewer had a little more money in their budget.
thank you.
There's nothing saying that this week, if Lisa
I
needs
know.
somebody a little bit more, and then the next week, the other department gets more.
I see an awful lot about the sewer functions on this. I feel that it might be better if we flesh out a little bit of your expectations more in this for the support that.
Well, I like that.
Really, I'd be happy with someone answering phones, answering questions when I'm
Filing.
here.
Would they be responding to developers? Would they be sending reminders to fund 53Gs? Would they be, I'd like to see your expectations represented in here a little more.
Well, I guess that's more of a question for what is your expectation for now that we're going to be reorganized? Are we gonna reorganize and have another clerk? And what will that clerk's duties be? So, you know, in the past, the clerk, Charlie, has done the minute. He's done the legal notices. He's done, I mean, we could add legal notices to that.
I think that would be a great idea.
Draft legal notices for agents approval.
To have something to the effect of, response to inquiries, under the direction of the conservation agent.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say answer phones, doesn't it say, yeah, answer questions of customers, public.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay.
Okay, so you just added, okay, all right.
Drafting the notices for agents approvals, do we want to add anything in there for them to do 53G stuff too, or do you, I mean,
I have no problem taking over 53G. I'm completely happy to do that. It's not a problem.
when we reorganize, if we want to reorganize after the fiscal year, I think you do that, then you'll become the clerk, or you will have co-clerks, because I think Mr. Phillips is willing to do the minutes. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. No,
Assistant clerk,
well, the clerk wouldn't necessarily be required to do the 53G correspondence, so I could just do that as a member. I'd be happy to do that if,
it would be really helpful if we could.
yeah, no, that would be fine. I don't have any problem with that.
Once we get, if we ever get more hours, that would be something we could add on to them. But
I think we're all gonna work good together. Yeah, I think we're moving forward. Positive way.
Agreed.
Okay. Are we in sync on that? So with the additions that Lisa just put in then,
well, it was Paul's idea.
well, you wrote it down. Okay, so Lisa, you need a motion to accept this. Where is it? This work schedule, this job description and with amendments noted.
And Mr. Chairman, could I also recommend one last addition?
Sure
It's,
can.
I'd like it to be explicitly noted that this is a non-union position. I think that should be explicitly added to the, just to make sure that we're setting the correct expectation. Yes, exactly. It's a non-union.
Okay. With additions given, is there a motion to accept the job description for clerical office person?
Motion to accept job description clerical office person.
Well, second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Let's see. Wow. It's been a long time, guys. You've been here for a while.
Wow.
Hope you had a cookie.
Oh, I'm gonna need more than that. I'm gonna need a stiff drink. You got vodka in those bottles, right?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, yours is gone.
Thank you.
Just smaller plans, but they're in.
Okay.
I got a phone.
You got a full one? You don't want color?
Huh? Yeah.
Thank you. Like the children? They're all.
Okay, let's wait till Lisa returns.
Oh, no, now's the time to strike.
You too?
Who's left back there?
Okay.
And the room.
Macaroons. Wait a minute, weren't there some kind of Twinkie, not Twinkies, devil dogs or something?
Oh, yeah, the eclairs back there. somewhere. Yeah.
It's cookies and some plants.
Nice.
Hey, what's left is nothing.
There's a basket for that.
Yeah. Put it over.
Oh. Let's see, who took pictures of our group?
I think Lisa did.
Yeah, I think almost everybody did.
A lot of people, most of Charlie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Nicole Mello took them too.
Okay.
I get on as an associate, a glutton for punishment.
Is he? No. That's another warrior.
Just like trees.
You all set?
Yeah.
Go ahead, you're on.
Evening, hey, John D'Souza from North County Group. So after the site meeting that we had on site, we went through and ended up adding the notations onto the plans that were we previously were talking about at the previous hearing. We submitted these plans over to Lisa. Lisa reviewed it. She had just a couple of minor edits, which we ended up taking care of on the plan. One of them was on the paddock. We had one area said a paddock to be removed, and then we had right next to it paddock to be adjusted. So as you saw out there, those are movable paddocks. So we changed the word, and so they all read the same. So it says a paddock to be adjusted. We moved the paddock as much as we could out of the 25-foot area. There's still a small corner that's within it, but it's being pulled back from the wetland area that we showed you guys out there in the field. We also went in and just added some more hatching on the backside for the area to revegetate naturally. And we added that computation onto the plans as well. We ended up going through on the notation. We changed one of the dates for the plants from, we previously had December 15th, and we brought that back to November 15th. That's on the sheet number 2, note 19. Then we also added note number 20, which is the 2 growing seasons with the monthly reports for the first year, then quarterly reports for the second year. And then we also added note number 21, which was use New England mixed grass seeding within the mitigation area. We brought these plans over to Lisa. Lisa left me a voicemail this afternoon. We also had talked about the vista pruning and removal of invasive species. I have to add that note to these plans, but so what the pruning will be is just to maintain the vegetation that's out there. He's not looking to rip anything out, but just to make sure that it is clean and habitable and not just lying there ready to fall over. And also to get rid of invasive species as it comes into play. It's always nice to maintain the wetland, make sure it's as clean as possible, and the removal of invasives will help tremendously. So I think after a long discussion, I think that everybody came to an agreement and a consensus, and we feel that the plan before you is very approvable tonight with the add-on of the added notation that I stated. And also wanted to
stipulate that we would be doing the baseline monitoring photographs probably next week, just so you get a clear consensus of how the project looks right now before we start planting. And I spoke to Lisa on the planting, and we came to the agreement that September would be a good time to start planting the mitigation out there instead of anytime sooner because of the current outer conditions that we're in. So if the commission has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Lisa? I think what we've talked about, everything seems to be going well with that plan.
Baseline monitoring corn and the invasives monitoring. Now, are you gonna be out there for the initial growing, planting to actually see the plant?
Yep.
You're gonna inspect the plant?
As they're going in. Yeah, yeah, we'll end up being out there.
And you're gonna put erosion control beyond the,
Yeah, the cross sack.
okay.
Yep.
So once the erosion controls. And you wanna put you're putting posts, right?
Well, that's one thing that we talked about. So we have the edge of the paddock fencing up on the backside. So instead of driving posts in, we're thinking of just using the paddock posts and hanging them on that back end.
The rest of the area.
Yeah, around the rest of the area, we're thinking of adding some posts. Yeah, so I mean, those will go on. We can use, they have a galvanized metal post that lasts a lot longer. They're usually about 1 inch wide and they go down a couple of feet. They're about that high and then you can screw those right to it. They're like the greenish in color.
So how will they get it fixed? By zip ties or something?
No, they actually use a galvanized screw with a nut, so you can't rip them out.
Like, we would like to see that done first thing, that with erosion controls.
Sure, yeah, that's not a problem. We can do that with the erosion control, and then once that's all set, we'll let you know.
5 foot.
Yeah.
Okay. Lisa, we good to go on this? Okay. Yes, from what I have seen, is there a motion to accept the restoration plan at 1566 Cedar Street, map 15, lot 4-1 and 2?
Oh, there's one other thing that we had spoke about, the current violations that are in place. So I spoke to Lisa on it, and if we could get a stay of suspension on the violation until after the second growing season. So that way my client doesn't have to come to sue the commission to get rid of them. And after 2 growing seasons and after you issue a COC, then you could withdraw those violation notices.
So this project isn't gonna get a COC?
No, but the house will. Actually, you can make that as a part of the condition to get the COC for the mitigation.
I think that should be considered when we get the final report.
That's fine. I can go with that. All right. So is there a motion then to accept the restoration plan at 1566 Cedar Street, map 15, lot 4-1 and 2, and that the order of fines will be addressed later. Okay, is there a
Conditions on this, they're gonna be pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
okay? Is there a motion?
Motion to accept the
Mitigation,
Uh,
restoration.
restoration of 1566 Cedar Street.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
I'm com-
Your backyard comes out as nice as your front yard looks, even half as nice, I would be delighted. When I was there, I just looked at it and I says, boy, this yard is beautiful.
We can't do the same page with the two items, and then I'll do the other thing. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Matoza, smile. Yeah. Got it done.
After these,
They're all low calories. They're all fat. Oh, I know.
okay,
Moving on.
Lisa, these are all yours now coming up. I don't know if you want to skip over some. Then. I don't know if you want to skip over some.
Just go right down the list.
Okay, 0 Horton Street, map 10 lot 53.
I requested an approval restoration plan by July 15th based on our last meeting. We sent a letter warning them of fine. I did hear from the wetland scientist who said that it wasn't in receipt of a draft, a very, very draft plan showing the existing conditions, but he was going to speak with the applicant because he didn't think that the engineer was moving quick enough to have that done by July 15th.
Is this up by the church? That one there?
Mhm.
Okay.
Next, 371 County Street. So that Mr. Mullen had reached out per our request. A request was sent to Mr. Mullen on April 26th of this year. Mr. Mullen said he will reach out to DEP again to try to set something up. I do know the chief has changed over at DEP, so that may be causing the delay. 1035 William Street, well, we all know tonight where that one's at. Right. We will see. 0 Horton, map 7, lot 26, enforcement order, restoration. So I know it says no new update on this, but actually the applicant was requesting to perk the site in July. And I did,
What was, so I couldn't understand what you said. I'm sorry.
the applicant was requesting to the Board of Health to perk this site again. They tried to perk it last year by accessing the back, I guess.
I know. Okay, now
Yeah.
I'm all set now.
Okay. That would be Locust property in the back. However, I did notify the Board of Health Department today that we have an outstanding enforcement restoration that has never been completed, and now they want to perk. I also would like to see some sort of an INRAD to know where they're gonna perk so that, you know, or a site plan so that I can say, oh, yeah, go out. Yeah, within that area, there is a buffer zone, or no, there isn't.
Now,
Make sure that they're outside of the 200-foot tributary setback too.
okay, now
Water supply.
they are fairly close to the land that is, there's being a houseway in the back where he built a bridge.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think he wants to spend a $250,000 to go through, Army Corps of Engineers and, well, actually, we really can't let them cross the stream.
No, I mean, so if they're gonna try to perk in the back, then I wanna see a wetland delineation in the back. I wanna see a plan. I wanna know.
How they gonna get over there?
Access and all that, yeah.
Okay,
But you know, like I said, the restoration for the front hasn't happened. So why should we allow them to destroy more?
okay, so what this comes down to is what this letter is saying. Are you going to get results? Is it going to be addressed? Okay, go ahead.
Next one would be Zero Williams, map 21-34-2. We sent a letter on over a year ago now. There's no new update on that. However, I'll be watching for when they do apply for the building permit. They are supposed to be restoring as well. 1861 Somerset Ave, there was some progress on that. The owner had done some work in his yard that I had brought to his attention, was in the buffer zone. And we actually just recently, finished loaming and seeding. He removed a pile of boulders, and his wife picked up the placards, so they're installing the placards, which is great. That should be coming off as soon as the site is stabilized. And 771 Hart Street. This one as well, this one should be off next meeting. I could have taken it off now. You guys might want to take a ride by. Mr. Phillips.
You saw it.
take a look at
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Looks good.
Looks real good.
So I think the erosion control can come out. And then we can call it a day on that. 1940 County Street, 508 Customs. As I reached out to Outback again, asking for an update. On June 14th. The response was that the applicant is in receipt of their draft plans and taking a look at them, and they're waiting for him to reply with comments. I would say maybe we reach out and say, we expect to receive something no later than, because now this is dragged on for quite a while now. We sent the letter in March, but it started back much earlier in March. You guys have any thoughts on that, whether we should send a follow-up letter saying what our expectations are, now that it's months after we sent the first letter and months after the initial violation?
Well, it wouldn't hurt to forward another letter and
What do we want to say?
your lack of support in filling this matter is endangering your position with the commission. And
We can hire Outback,
yeah,
so.
we are looking for advancement in this problem, advancement to the solution of this problem.
Okay. And a date? We expect to receive a plan no later than,
Well, July 15th, I mean, that gives you a little bit of time to look at it before the next meeting on the 20th. That's what, 3 weeks?
3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, but they won't get the letter though. You won't send the letter out till next week.
I know, so why don't we say we'd like one
At least 1 week prior to the August meeting.
August meeting.
Okay,
So August meeting. Submission for the August meeting date would be August 21st. The submission deadline would be August 6th. Oh, no, it's the wrong one. August 17th would be the meeting date. Submission deadline would be August 2nd, so. Only 4 more items. 880 Hart Street, Area of disturbance, the cutting has stopped, they've got wetland delineation out there. They relocated the cows that they were going to put in the wetland. And they're reestablishing and letting the area grow in. However, there are a couple of poles out there still placed in the wetlands. Telephone poles, what do we want to do? Do we care?
Put some stickers on
If they yank them out, they're
Are they
gonna create
standing
more
up or laying
of a
down?
disturbance.
Yeah, I say leave them.
Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah,
create more of a
otherwise-
disturbance.
Yeah, they've otherwise complied with everything else.
They've been there a long time, or did somebody just put them there?
Well, maybe, no, it's their neighbors now.
I don't know.
I think they can just remain, I told them. But we might want to consider placards,
Consider what?
having them put the fees up.
Oh,
So it's something to think about. I mean, the site has to be established. We have a few growing seasons.
Yeah.
Next is 700 Main. I haven't gotten any more information. They have not reached out again. Has anyone heard anything from them? Main, same thing. I haven't heard anything more. 670 Main, I think we are due for a site visit, aren't we? He went and had another grandchild and we lost track of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we do need to take a visit there. But everything's quiet on that front.
If, is everything being reestablished, or are they still using that property for dirt bikes and the rest?
Oh, they haven't been using it, yep.
Now, am I wrong? Is that 7? I get the two confused.
That's 700.
700.
Yeah.
So they haven't been using it? Nobody,
670, that's
that's Mr.
that's
That's
where the.
He's the one who filed the initial complaint.
Or was. But I don't think that's their water issue. I think that's coming elsewhere. Because it wasn't like that before. And it's like 700 Main Street. I don't think Kenny's dumping anything over the bank, but he's getting blamed for it.
Yeah, but I think they were gonna maybe try to reach out to their neighbors.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but unless you got pictures of somebody going up there in a field and dumping it. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get too far. There's nobody's names on the stump, so.
Yeah. Good way.
I live at 725 Main Street. I haven't heard
Yeah.
I haven't heard the dirt bikes or anything like that. And
Okay.
670 Main Street. I know that he was recently involved in a pretty bad car accident. So that,
Young Steve, was he?
no, it's 670 on this little page. And,
You okay?
he is okay, but it probably has slowed down things on his end. So
Okay, so 700, I think maybe we probably will do a site visit, so we should
Follow.
plan a site visit. I have to dig out the guy's phone number. I think I know how I can get it. Okay. 1420 William Street. I'm getting tired. Map 11 lot 9. As last time, I did hear back from Mr. Arujo. Having two phones can be. That be a great message saying that the pile of loam that was closest to the resource area is gone, or mostly gone, and that he reached out to his wetland consultant. And he knows that Mr. Ferry is going to be doing some investigating of a drainage pipe that drains to the same area. So, and I think me and Mr. Ferry are gonna make that site visit next week, so. That's all I have on that.
Okay.
I don't have any public input.
I do.
You do?
Paul and David need a copy of the Wetlands Protection Act.
Okay.
Everybody on the commission is supposed to have one. Make sure they get one.
Well, they can
Good idea.
access it online too.
What's that?
Everybody can access it online.
Well, if they'd rather do that, let them do that, but I like a hard copy so I can go in and,
Paper copy. Do you want another one?
no, I have mine. I just think everybody,
Paper for your fire already.
what?
Easy. Okay, we'll make a copy.
They need a hard copy in the folder with the information tabs, just like the rest of us have. You think that's a good idea, Paul, or would you rather do it online?
No, hard copy would be great.
Huh?
Well,
I have a couple copies, actually. I usually have- Hey, I carry those flyers around. Those brochures.
Yes.
Oh, it's a-
That's that.
Oh, yeah.
I have a couple hundred of them in a drawer in my office.
Yes.
We'll make this quick, because I agree.
Oh, thank you.
Let's wrap it up. I just want to give you a quick update on the Stormwater Committee meeting yesterday relative to the Brook Street Solar Project. Third-party review came back. The engineers of Green International. All of the areas they looked at relative to whether or not the basins that haven't been draining were constructed according to the original approved plans. All of the items that they looked at, none of them in compliance. None of them. So it was decided, well, I think it was decided, I think we decided, nothing else can happen there. There was an engineer there representing Grasshopper, and there was the engineer who actually did the site visit with Todd Pilling and I, when I took a whole bunch of pictures of that site. Vic Fasendola represents Grasshopper, and Shahan was the engineer that wrote this report, which I can leave for you. The engineers agreed, nothing can move forward out there until they stabilize the site. I took pretty some pictures and I can certainly share them. Is that grass hasn't grown at all, even weeds don't even grow. I mean, weeds would be an improvement. They think that the big basin is not draining. There were two theories. The first one is it's not draining properly because the land is not stabilized and silt has gotten in through the rocks and has clogged up the fabric that is there to keep the stuff out of the sand.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, over the top of the rock.
So in the pictures I took, when I was standing on the rocks in the drainage basin, you can see tadpoles. That's how long the water's been there, okay? That's one theory. So what they're going to do is have to do some kind of test hole to get down to the fabric and see if it's silted up. If it is, they got to take that all out again, start over. Now, the other theory, especially on the big basin, is did they dig too deeply and hit groundwater? Nick and the other engineer did not feel it's groundwater coming up. But what we all know is in this report, it does not drain within 72 hours. Although the basins as built differ from the approved design. Designer has shown that the stormwater basins reduce peak discharge rates. However, during a site visit, the basins were observed not functioning as intended. Standing water was observed, life in the water. So I will leave this with you. They revised it because initially when they sent this report to our meeting, all of the column meets requirements, all said it hadn't been determined yet. And I said, why did you put that there? It's clear in reading this, nothing meets the requirements. So anyhow, they revised it and they all say now no. So I'll leave this with you. It's a public document. This is the third-party review on Brook Street. So the next thing is, they've got to get it stabilized. Hopefully to determine and get those basins draining. And both conservation and stormwater are saying, conservation, you can't cut trees until you get everything stabilized. So nothing's going to happen. This is going to take a while, but that's where it is now.
They're not gonna make any money for a while.
No.
No, it'll be another year.
We're going on 4 years, Jim.
Okay, is there anyone else? Okay, it is motion for adjournment at 9:45.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.